Welcome back to the Frontline Fantasy Football Podcast. This is your host, Jason Cameron, and I'm here with my co-host, Brandon Alessio.
Hello.
And we're also joined by our co-host / producer, Jonathan Hausler.
Yo.
He's taking over for Seth today because Seth is MIA, I guess. He's probably at home doing nothing. I don't know.
Chilling.
So today is November 6th, 2017. Going into week 14. It is finally time for the fantasy football playoffs. I know Jonathan probably made playoffs in the league.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yeah, not too shabby.
I'm 4 out of 5, and the one I didn't make it in was the family league, and I have the most points in that league, so that's frustrating.
Ouch. A lot of points against.
Yes.
Ugh.
Poor matchups. And Brandon, playoffs?
0-1. Or 0-1 that I care about. The other ones I just don't even care about. Which I know is a very lame excuse.
But so I'm 0-3?
Yeah, I think so.
Yowzers.
But
Okay.
the injury bug, though,
Yeah.
it hit.
And the not caring bug. The injury bug on the league that I care about.
Led to the not caring bug.
Yeah, it's tragic.
Happens. So let's just jump right into injuries. Brandon's Bills. We have Tyrod Taylor hurt. Injured his knee. Doesn't look to be serious. Could possibly play this week. If he does not, it will be Nathan Peterman. And Brandon, you just got some news about the tickets?
Yes, I just got notification that some tickets for the Bills and Colts game are being resold for as low as $11. Or where'd I get that? $4 for $4.
$4?
Yeah, that's like 2 double cheeseburgers.
I mean,
at McDonald's.
You could fly out there, watch a game for $4. I mean, there's not much you can do for $4 in Iowa, let alone.
That's half a movie.
Very true.
A third of a movie.
It's a Chick-fil-A meal. Less than a Chick-fil-A meal.
Leave it to you to bring up Chick-fil-A.
Gotta.
And our next injury also applies to Brandon. Zach Ertz, concussion. His tight end on his injury-riddled team. So Trey Burton's the backup for him. Jumping into news, we got some suspension. Some suspensions. First one is probably the most notable one is Rob Gronkowski.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should be longer.
Brady threw a pick, and the defender caught it, kind of went down, and Rob Gronkowski, like 5 seconds later, turned around and speared him when he was on the ground with his helmet. So
yeah,
out of bounds.
It was blatant.
And he tried to appeal it for some reason.
After he apologized, saying it was a moment of frustration.
Yeah.
But he appeals it.
Makes no sense.
Never been the smartest guy.
Yeah.
Just take it.
That's what she said. All right, so
nice.
Appeal denied. So Gronk's replacement. Do we think Dwayne Allen? Do we think look elsewhere?
I think look elsewhere. I think the targets will go to. Well, I think more will go to Burkhead, more will go to Cooks. I think more to Amendola. I think they'll spread around instead of just have Allen fill the Gronk role.
I'm with you, and there's also a possible return of Chris Hogan.
True.
Hasn't done much this week, but still is in the works. Do you agree with that?
So yeah, and if you were looking for a tight end, I'd say Cameron Brate's probably more available in most leagues too to target somebody like him.
Maybe not so much after the waiver wires, but
yeah, if you can.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, last time Gronk was out, Dwayne Allen had 0 targets, let alone catches. So
nice.
There you go.
Look elsewhere. Next suspension: Juju Smith-Schuster suspended 1 game. I mean,
for legally hitting a guy.
Yeah, they claim it was helmet to helmet, but I mean, it's Vontaze Burfict. The league has got to be happy that this guy just got laid out for once.
Pretty much deserved it.
Oh yeah,
he does it to everybody else.
He's the dirtiest player in the league, and
Seriously.
everybody's getting offended that he stood over him. I mean,
that's on Juju though. He just stood over him for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, he
did. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, clearly he obviously was trying to crack him, and he made it obvious that he was trying to.
Juju is really good friends with Le'Veon Bell, and Le'Veon Bell absolutely hates Vontaze Burfict. He always posts on Instagram and tweets about how Vontaze Burfict shouldn't be in the league. So
dang.
So yeah, I think Juju had some extra motivation right there.
Good for him.
So he's going through the appeal process right
it.
now. And yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. I liked it as well. So it's nice to see Vontaze Burfict get knocked out.
Very true.
Currently going through the appeal process. Haven't heard anything on that. So could possibly.
It's had to have gained more traction than Gronk's, though, considering we already know Gronk's got denied.
Yeah, a bunch of people.
I thought Juju's got denied too.
It did get
I thought
denied?
I remember hearing that.
Okay.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I thought I'm
No,
pretty
you're
sure.
probably right,
I'm pretty sure it got denied pretty quickly.
which is dumb.
But it is also interesting to note. Well, there was a hit on Antonio Brown, and that safety originally got suspended
By Iloka.
Right. Well, but Iloka appealed it, and now he only has a fine now instead of a suspension.
Oh, I did see that.
So it's weird.
$36,000 fine.
Interesting that they still suspend Juju, but they don't suspend the safety that did the same thing to Antonio Brown.
Right. Did he stand over Antonio Brown?
No, there was no taunting, but Juju did get the taunting flag. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that should have already been accounted for.
Either way, the league is being inconsistent.
Yeah. What's new?
Yeah.
And then just the third thing I wanted to mention: Chiefs suspend Marcus Peters for his actions. I don't know if you guys
the
saw.
Chiefs suspended him?
Yeah, the Chiefs did. Andy Reid suspended him.
I was
their own
dying.
decision.
I was laughing so hard when I saw that. And they ran back on the field without his socks on.
So basically, the Chiefs get called for 3 pass interference penalties in a row. One of them was on 3rd down, so they would have been off the field. Get called for it. So who are they playing? Oh,
somebody they lost to.
Whoever they were playing, the Jets.
Yeah.
Jets, that's it.
So the Jets got moved to the 1-yard line. The Jets, I think, got to 3rd down again, and then it was another pass interference. And it was rightfully so. It was on number 20. I don't know what his name was, but he's bear hugging people out there.
Jeez.
And then the third one I don't know about, but that's when Marcus Peters decided to pick up the flag that was thrown and chuck it into the stands. And then he left, and as Brandon said, he came back with no socks on, wearing cleats. It looked like
bold strategy.
Yeah, it was an awkward look. So he's out. So Raiders playing them this week. I mean, Michael Crabtree, Amari Cooper, if he plays, he has a concussion as well. Looks like he's going to play.
Yeah.
Booming.
Yeah.
Start him.
Good week.
So let's review dogs versus babies. It was a good week for the dogs. Well, no, never mind. It was a 50-50 split again.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown versus AJ Green. So Blake, my son, picked Antonio. Jonathan's son, Ezra, picked AJ Green.
Yay.
Brandon's dog, Chief, picked AJ Green. Sketch
Smart
video.
dog.
And then Seth's dog, Khaleesi, picked Antonio Brown. So AJ Green obviously had more points, 19.7 to 16.1. So probably our highest scoring dogs versus babies, but legitimately close this time. So that moves dogs up 5-12, babies down 4 out of 12. So
It's too bad.
we got a little bit to pick it up.
There's still a chance.
Not everyone could be as smart as Chief. Let's be honest.
Let's actually look. Chief is 2-6. So
What a
Khaleesi
beast.
is the only one that's 3-6. Blake and Ezra are also tied with Chief. So
Well, Chief's brain's
actually
developing.
everybody is just as smart as Chief.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, what happened with the camera was I had my iPad and I was filming with it like standing up like so, and then I put the 2 treats next like in front of it, and then he ran over and started sniffing and licking the iPad, knocked it over. I'm like, oh my god.
I was laughing.
I was like, come on.
You could hear yourself in there. Come on.
Yeah, there's 2 treats right next to him. He goes for the iPad.
Of course.
I tried biting it. He was like trying to bite it. I was like, oh shoot, no. But thankfully, no damage.
You could at least kind of tell what was going on.
Kinda.
So let's hop into our first segment. It's called Playoff Push.
Ooh.
So basically just your starts and sits, but with a fancier name, Playoff Push.
Yeah.
Just players we think are good starts this week. So Jonathan, you want to lead us off?
I picked a few that maybe a couple. I don't know. I had a mix. Some that you may not even be actually not obvious starts is what I'm trying to say. Not obvious.
Mine were like Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where I went with this.
I'm the opposite.
Sit him.
My first one is Marquise Goodwin, wide receiver for the 49ers. If you don't know, this past week he had 8 catches for 99 yards. Originally he was kind of their big play guy, can catch the deep ball, but it seemed like this past week he was actually getting some shorter yard receptions as well, which is due to Garoppolo. Goodwin's value definitely increases with Garoppolo. I think he's a wide receiver 3 this week. I like him. They play the Texans, who have given up the 9th most fantasy points to wide receivers.
And just kind of thing to know, he's super fast. He was in the Olympics, and
Dang.
they're running him on more slant patterns from what I noticed, so that you're going to see more of like the Odell Beckham Jr. catch a short pass and take it to the house. So
I like that.
I do like that. I think this is a good call.
Yeah.
Big Boo.
Mine is somebody I swore off the list in the writing segment, but I'll add him here, and if this isn't this week, it's never going to happen. That's the Crow. I'm only saying this. He has had more than 4 yards a carry 4 out of the past 5 weeks, has found the end zone twice in the past 5 weeks, and he's playing the 23rd best, or the 8th worst, 9th worst rushing defense in the league with the Packers, and the Packers offense doesn't score, so don't expect the Browns to abandon the run. Expect them to run the ball more. So I feel like this is the perfect scenario for him to succeed, and if he doesn't succeed, just drop him. Just drop him.
Wow.
Just drop him.
This is this is do or die.
Do or die.
Literally. Okay.
I mean, even last week, he had 41 yards and 10 attempts, which isn't bad, but he only got the ball 10 times.
Yeah, you need the ball.
Like, yeah, exactly.
My first one is Rex Burkhead playing the Dolphins. He's had double-digit fantasy points in 3 out of his last 4 games, 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games, and Miami is 24th against the run this year. So I don't even care that there's 2 other backs there. Rex Burkhead's a good play this week.
He's an red zone monster is basically what it is. Deion Lewis gets him down there, and then Burkhead just vultures it.
Exactly what you want. You want that Matt Asiata on your lineup.
Yeah, I love it.
On a good offense.
Yeah.
Your second one.
My next one, I'm going with the Browns guy, too. I'm going Josh Gordon. He is back. He had 4 catches for 85 yards in his return last week against the Chargers. Faced off against Hayward. And he had that 85 yards is the second highest wide receiver yardage total, I guess, that the Chargers have allowed outside of Odell Beckham in Week 5, which is pretty impressive. Hayward's been shutting down people all year. He also played 76% of the snaps, and received 34.4% of the team targets, which is a lot. So I think he's a solid wide receiver 2 this week against the Packers, and I'm starting him in the leagues that I have him.
Yeah, I had him on my list as well. Just targeted 11 times. Hayward, like you said, guarded him, shadowed him the whole game.
Yeah.
Casey Hayward said that he was the toughest guard he's had all season. So.
And Josh Gordon hasn't played for 3 years.
Yeah. So that's
Love it.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I believe before this game, they clocked him at practice, and he ran a 4.340. So.
Man.
He's pretty fast.
Is that it?
Coming from a dude who couldn't outrun Peyton Manning.
I most definitely could. But moving on to my second is going to be Robbie Anderson. He's had double digits or a touchdown in the past 6 games. He's just coming off a 107 yards, 8 catch game against Kansas City. And I'd say start him, but I'd also say add him to your team because he's only been added in 81% of leagues. So, I mean, he's the number 6 receiver. So, I mean, or number 8 receiver.
If you like fantasy points, I mean, why not?
So, yeah, I mean, 1 out of 5 of you guys might be able to get him. So.
I think in smaller and 8-man leagues, I feel like he's been around for a while. He's been still available for a while. Mm-hmm. I've seen at least.
Just a quick note. I was heading to ESPN. I was going to look at my fantasy team real quick just to look at some of the players. And Austin left his login in, and I actually play him this week in the playoffs. So
you don't think he's going to switch it around?
So I think at the last second I might decide to sit LaShawn McCoy and Carson Wentz.
There you go.
Okay.
Sitting LaShawn might actually help.
Yeah.
Might help him, excuse me.
My second one, Hunter Henry playing the Redskins. Redskins ranked 29th against tight ends. The Redskins have given up a touchdown to a tight end in 7 of the last 10 games. So really like that.
Yeah.
And then for the first time this season, Hunter Henry has had 2 consecutive games with at least 5 catches, which doesn't seem all that impressive, but you're actually seeing consistency now in the pass game with him in it. So
yeah, which has been the problem because they use him and then they forget about him and then they use him again. So
I mean, yeah, you don't know when to play him or not.
Right.
This week, if any, is a good week to play him.
For sure.
Your next one.
This is actually who I think could be a good Gronk fill-in this week is Steven Anderson. He is the new starting tight end for the Texans this week. Last week he played when C.J. Fedorowicz went down, had a concussion. Anderson had 5 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown, and he was targeted around I think about 12 times, which is quite a bit. And Texans they have tons of injuries. The only people they have left is basically DeAndre Hopkins and this guy Steven Anderson. And they play the 49ers this week, who have allowed 6 touchdowns to tight ends in the last 6 games. I know.
Going against my Niners.
I know. But so I think he's a good start. The volume's there, the targets are there. I think he can get it done.
Yeah, I do too. He's should have been a hot pickup this week.
Yes.
Brandon, your last one.
My last one's Cameron Brate. He's played 7 games with Jameis Winston and caught 6 touchdowns. So in a league,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, in a league where not touchdowns, but tight ends aren't any good, aren't any good, but aren't nearly as valuable as others. I would say he's easily a top pickup, and he's only owned in 67% of leagues, so he's still easily able to be picked up.
It's kind of surprising. You would have figured he would have been really picked up. It kind of tells how much people don't pay attention.
He's only been added in 4% of leagues this week.
I wonder how many of
15-point game.
How many of these leagues are just like,
dead.
Oh, I've always heard about fantasy football. Let's just play.
Yeah, and you think partly with playoffs starting this week, maybe the people that didn't make it just don't care anymore.
Right.
You know,
which is lame.
Yeah.
You fill out your roster.
Yeah.
Who wants to get last?
Yeah.
Exactly. Fight for. I mean, you're still in the loser bracket, but you're still playing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a league or something, you should join a league where there's a punishment for getting last, or if you're the best of the losers, you get your money back for the league, or something. Make some incentive so that you're actually playing, even if you are a Brandon, a loser.
Yeah, a loser.
All right, so my last one, Alfred Morris. Playing the Giants, I thought he was a good one, but I want to mention this one. Amir Abdullah versus the Buccaneers, kind of a sneaky one.
Ooh.
Buccaneers have had 22 consecutive games where they've given up. Whoa, 22. That is not correct. They have 2 consecutive games where they've given up 2 touchdowns to running backs. So they're struggling against running backs in the red zone. And then Matthew Stafford has an injured hand, got it stepped on last week, has some nerve damage. So I think you're going to see a lot of runs from Amir Abdullah, which he seemed to get anyway. So I think this week could be a sneaky Amir Abdullah play if you have. I mean, he's going to be a flex play, RB3. Yeah. I mean,
if you start him, you're probably not expecting too much.
Right, but I think you could be surprised by what he could end up doing.
True.
So, and then just note, watch out. He had a neck injury, that's why he didn't play last week. So he could end up still playing, or it looks like he's going to play, but just watch out for that just in case.
And if not, I mean, if Theo Riddick's available, he's another one that you could potentially pick up instead and plug in a flex.
Yep, had a rushing touchdown last week in place of Amir Abdullah. So let's move on to our next segment, defense. Awesomely named.
Nice.
We're talking about defenses.
In case you didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Didn't pick that up.
Yeah.
So just defenses with a good schedule. I just kind of wanted to mention this segment really quick. Just name a couple teams. I mean, you don't hear much about defenses, and they're kind of important at this point.
Defense win championships, especially if you have the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
But
clearly, matchup isn't everything, though. Considering I played the Lions playing Baltimore last week, feeling real good about it. -4. I mean, Flacco has a negative interception to touchdown ratio, or touchdown to interception ratio. The running backs don't score. And what happened last game? The running back scored, and Dirty Flacco did not throw a pick, and he only threw touchdowns. And still salty.
Doesn't make sense.
I picked that up.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan, first defense
I had was the Eagles. They are some that they actually have been owned in majority of leagues, but they have a bad matchup this week, and I feel like in some of my leagues I've seen people drop them. But
holy crap.
I know. Yeah, I was surprised as well.
I give my left arm for the Eagles defense.
It'd be very good. I know. So I think they play the Rams this week, and they have right now they have the second highest.
Side note, I really wouldn't give my left arm for the Eagles defense.
Not committed.
It's good to
it.
know.
Carry on.
See how it is. So they have a bad matchup this week against the Rams, which is why people are dropping them. I believe they just with playoffs, Rams have the second highest total. The Rams, I can't talk. Rams and Eagles, second highest point total for this week that they're projected. But after that, they still have good matchups. They have the Giants Week 15, Raiders Week 16, Cowboys Week 17.
I like that.
Not too shabby.
Big boo.
Number 1, it's a defense that isn't any good, but they don't play any good offenses coming up, or at least for the next couple of weeks, and that is the Browns. They play Green
What
Bay.
do you tell?
Ooh.
What? Fantasy-wise, they're ranked. They're the 25th ranked defense in fantasy.
Yeah, we want playable defenses.
Well, they play Green Bay. How many points does Green Bay score? Then they play Baltimore, who before until last week didn't put up any points.
Gave the Lions a -4.
Yeah, and then they play Chicago 3 weeks straight of 3 moderately poor offenses.
The problem is they're a really poor defense.
Well, yeah, but how many points is Green? Do you think Brent Hundley is going to score more than 20 in a game?
Yes.
Maybe.
I think
No.
combined they might.
Mm-mm.
They did last week.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, that was against Tampa
You
Bay,
know what?
though.
We haven't
It was
done a
a bad
bet in a
defense.
while, so I bet.
Well, it depends what the bet is. If you're going to be a top 5, well, of course not.
I mean,
I'll start him this week.
what? Let's see.
Probably 'cause I just picked him up, actually.
We bet the Browns. I assume Jonathan will want to hop in on this bet.
Yeah, I'm on your side, Jason.
Yeah, we bet the Browns will not be a top 10 defense in any of those 3 weeks. So 3 separate bets, I guess. When they play
Each week.
So all
when
the
they play
Browns
the
have to do is be a top 10 defense once in the next 3 weeks?
No, it's 3 separate bets.
I'm not doing 3 separate. I'll do one for this week right now. I'll do top 10 this week.
Maybe we just bring it back every week now.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
Write it down.
I'll say top 10 this week.
Jonathan and I do not think they will be top 10 versus the Packers this week.
Well, little do you know, I know this means nothing, but they are projected to be the number 1 defense this week.
No, they're not.
Take a look.
What? Hit all, Brant. No way.
They're on all. Projected 9.7.
Yeah, my butt. If they, no way. You know
Fair
what?
enough.
I think if
Write it down, John.
I am.
he's writing it down. I'm okay. Let's just move on. My first
2
one.
words, Brett Hundley.
Yeah.
2 more words, can't score.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams can.
I'll give you some numbers. 0-11. No, is it 0-12? Winless. Whatever. One word. Winless.
Yeah, it'd be.
I think they're 0-13.
It would be 0-12.
I think they're 0-12 now.
Probably 0-13
Yeah.
after Sunday.
You want to start an 0-12 defense? Be my guest.
I would love to.
My first one is Patriots. They play the Dolphins, then they play the Steelers. I don't like that, but then they play the Bills and the Jets. So
I had them too.
really like that match. But I actually picked them up. I actually passed picking up the Bengals defense this week because I really didn't like their schedule, and went and picked up the Pats.
Smart. They've really. I mean, they started out terrible, but the past like, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they've really turned it on.
Well, double digits in the past 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
yeah.
My next one was the Chargers. They've been playing super well too. They have double digit points the past 3 weeks, and 3 defensive touchdowns those past 3 weeks, and they forced 12 total turnovers the past 4 games. This week they have the Redskins. Week 15 they have the Chiefs. Week 16 they have the Jets, and week 17 they have the Raiders. All offenses that have been struggling lately.
Yeah, you're not scared of any of those.
No, so they're definitely playable.
All right, Brandon, tell us about the Colts defense.
Another one I have is this is 100% dependent on quarterback play. If Tyrod Taylor is in the game, I will say the Buffalo defense, especially for this week, but going on, they play the Indianapolis Colts. That's easy points.
True.
Then they play Miami week 15 and week 17.
Wait, you're going to insult Jacoby Buckets like that?
Yes, I will. And they also play Miami twice in the next 4 weeks.
That's
they
all
do
you
have the
need.
Patriots week 16, so obviously don't play
Jay
them.
the Cannon Cutler?
Yeah, I did the Cannon Cutler. But they even last time they played New England, I mean, they didn't go negative, which is a plus. I mean, for my team.
Nice.
But yeah, 3 of the next 4 games are pretty lousy opponents, so I feel like they could be at least worth a roster spot potentially.
Honestly, I had them on my defenses as well. So
Yeah, good.
this my
Indianapolis
last one,
is
but,
No
the
disagreement.
30th ranked offense.
There you
Right.
go.
Jonathan, your last defense.
Actually, that's all I had. Because I had the Patriots too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big Boo, do you have another one, or you just want me to run my last one?
You
off?
run the last one.
So I also had the Eagles like Jonathan, but I had the Texans as well. Their defense is really not that great, but they play the 49ers, Jaguars, Steelers, and Colts. I mean, you're not going to play them versus Steelers, but even the Jaguars, that's Blake Bortles. He's all right, but you're not scared of him. And then I also had the Steelers defense. They play the Ravens, Patriots, Texans, and Browns. So that championship week, you're going to be happy with the Steelers.
The Colts are also worth a spot at least. They play Buffalo, Denver, Baltimore, and Houston.
Did he just tell people to play the Colts and the Browns defense?
Do we need to make another bet?
They play Buffalo, who can't score. Denver, who can't even get past half.
Buffalo's about to drop 20
Baltimore,
on the Colts.
with 20 isn't that many
This
points.
week maybe, because if Peterman's starting, yes.
Yeah.
But if
Baltimore,
Tyrod's starting, no.
And then Houston. It's Houston. I don't even have to say anything else.
Analysis.
Yeah. Well, they have Savage throwing the ball. They have Miller, who can't run for more than 3 yards.
All their wide receivers, other than Hopkins, are hurt.
Yeah. They played 4
Bruce
lousy
Ellington
opponents.
and
Will
Fuller
You know
went
what?
out with concussions.
I'll be starting the Browns this week, so I don't care what you say. I'm starting the Browns.
Starting the Browns and then the Colts in your flex.
I can't wait for
Maybe.
this. Colts and flex.
We're scooting. I wish you could run a defense.
All right, so let's move on to the bold predictions. But before we do that, just wanted to shout out to toiletlosers.com/ for sending us these cool trophies. We have the toilet with the crown on it, as Brandon is showing, and we also have this bobblehead one right here. You can engrave them. They actually sent us the engravings. I need to go get those and put that on. But they also sent us another trophy that we're gonna give away.
What?
Yeah.
Another
Unbelievable.
One.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
This guy is huge on social media. That's terrible. Whatever. He's huge on social media. It's the Donald Trump Toilet Loser Trophy. So
Love fantasy and hate Trump? Send us a tweet.
really,
Perfect
just
combo.
Fantasy Donald is all you got to do. Free trophy. Free giveaway. It's yours.
He doesn't look too happy. He looks kind of orange, too.
He doesn't look happy, but you can be happy knowing that you have this for your league and that the loser of your league is going to get Donald Trump texting on a toilet.
He's probably tweeting.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else does he do?
We're not gonna go there.
We're not ESPN.
All right, so Fantasy Donald, if you want to win that trophy. So let's go to bold predictions. Let's take a look at last week's bold predictions. It's just
Rough week.
offers again.
Yeah.
Offers and not even close.
It's all right, guys. I got some music for us.
All right, Jonathan's on top of it.
Yeah.
Brandon's first one. Brian Suckup will score. Oh, I spelled will soar more points than Latavius Murray. That's incorrect. Brian Suckup had 6. Latavius Murray had 9.7.
The worst part is, Suckup only had to have a decent game to beat him. And, of course, he didn't. Like, he had a terrible game. Continue.
Jonathan's first one. Jimmy Garoppolo will be a top 7 quarterback. Incorrect. He was his 23rd best
No
quarterback.
touchdowns.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yikes.
My first one. Marcus Mariota and Dak Prescott will be top 10 quarterbacks, and I was incorrect.
Good one.
Marcus Mariota was the 9th best quarterback, but I added on too much. Dak was the 17th best quarterback. Brandon's second one, going back to the well, Ryan Suckup will score more points than Alvin Kamara, and that is, of course, incorrect.
Close.
Alvin Kamara had 24.6 to Ryan Suckup 6. So Brandon's killing it with those.
Don't bet against Kamara.
Yeah.
Might just have to.
Bring it back.
All right. Good luck with that one. Jonathan's second one, Ricky Seals-Jones will score a touchdown and be a top 12 tight end, and that is incorrect because he scored 0 touchdowns.
What number was he?
17th best tight end. So
I
that
mean,
was our closest
5
one.
away.
Yeah. I mean, tight ends, 44 yards was a top 10 tight end, I believe. So
Makes sense.
not super impressive week.
So at number 17, what do you have? 2 catches for 10 yards?
Yeah, probably wasn't that great.
It was not good.
You weren't happy if you started him. Let's just say that.
No.
My second one, the Jaguars defense will score more points than Vernon Davis, Greg Olsen, and Evan Ingram combined. That's incorrect. Jaguars had 13. Tight ends had 17.4. Evan Ingram had like 16 of that. So
That's pretty close, though.
yeah, I tried my best.
Whoa.
Oh, Jonathan.
Sorry.
Jeez.
I bumped the table and it freaked out.
All right, Brandon. Brandon's went back to the well again. Des Bryant will not be a top 50 receiver. That's incorrect because he was the 12th best receiver.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? He scores a touchdown for the first time in about 6 months. I mean, come on. He never scores. He's been horrible all year. The one time I bet against him, of course, I saw him get that touchdown. I just felt sick. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. It was like the first decent play he's had all season in the week I bet against him.
Figures.
Serves me right.
Just keep betting against him, though, and he'll keep doing well.
Yeah, I guess.
Keep it up.
Okay, my third one, Josh Gordon, will be a top 10 receiver. Incorrect. He was the 24th best receiver.
Oh, that's too bad.
Had the potential. Oh, well. Okay, Des Bryant.
It's too bad.
So, Austin still stuck at 3 for 18, 17%. Brandon at 6 for 27. That's 22%. Jonathan, 2 for 27 at 7%.
I don't want to talk about it.
And I'm at 10 for 28 at 36%.
Well, it's because yours aren't very bold.
My boldness is too strong.
Yeah, Jonathan just brings on too much bold.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
His bold is too big. All right, so let's say ours. So, Jonathan.
Okay, let me pull it up here. My first one, I think I'm kind of going with that bet you had last week, Jason. I think Josh Gordon's a top 8 wide receiver this week. Top 8.
I like it.
That ruins one of my.
Sorry, Brandon.
All right.
Do it too.
No, mine was gonna be way bolder, so I'm gonna evacuate from that one.
You could.
You know what? This one might not be bold enough, but I'll say Des Bryant doesn't crack the top 60 this week. Receivers.
Oh,
why would you? We would have been fine with like 30.
60. I want to be bold. Lightning won't strike twice, especially with him. No way.
I mean, that one week he played terrible and got 57. Are you sure you want to do 60?
He probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Probably have to get injured the first quarter.
I'll do 60.
Let's do.
Okay,
I'm excited.
Sticking to his guns. My first one, Steven Anderson, the Texans tight end that Jonathan talked about, will be a top 10 tight end.
I like that.
Which isn't saying much because all he needs is 44 yards. But okay.
Projected to be the 20th tight end on ESPN.
Fair.
All right, so Jonathan, your second. Wait. We have Austin's first one. Austin finally sent in one. No Seahawk running back scores more than 5 points.
That's not bold at all. They all suck.
Mike Davis got more than 5 points.
Did he?
He got like 6, didn't he?
It's more than 5.
It's typical Seahawks running back week is 5 points.
At best.
We'll make it PPR.
Okay, that's better.
That still sucks.
McKissick could get more than that.
Yeah, easily. All right, Jonathan, go ahead with your second one.
My second one, Kareem Hunt returns. I think he's going to get 100 yards at least and a touchdown.
Total yards or rushing yards?
Total.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Got to help myself out a little
I was
bit.
gonna say. Okay, that's very bold.
Yeah.
Considering he hasn't done anything for the past 7 weeks or whatever it's been.
He's been struggling.
All right, Big Boo. I don't know if you can get any bolder than last week or that last one.
I'll dip through the well once more. Ryan Suckup.
Yes.
He's gonna score a lot of points this week. And you know what? He's gonna score more points. I'm trying to think of somebody who I haven't done yet. No, I'm not doing that. I know better. You know what? Yeah, more than Le'Veon.
Oh.
Ooh.
I have way more faith in Antonio than Le'Veon.
Standard or PPR?
Standard, of course.
Okay, nice.
I mean, like that even matters. Okay. I mean, I would be willing to bet you that Le'Veon Bell doubles up Ryan Suckup's points this week.
Bold prediction it then.
No, I want to do a bet. We haven't done enough bets.
Bold prediction it then.
Do a bet.
I want the bet.
You know, fine, yeah. Shout out to Ryan Suckup will get it. Easy.
Le'Veon Bell will double Ryan Suckup's points this week.
Writing it down.
All right, that boy. My second.
No, in my luck, it's gonna be another one of those 50 carry games that he has, where he just gets it by default. But you know,
knowing your luck, Ryan Suckup will score 3 points, and Le'Veon Bell will get it on 1 carry.
He'll score 3 of the Le'Veon. I'll have like 5. So like, it won't even be a satisfying victory.
So any victory is satisfying to me. Just like our Rec League C League basketball game this week.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Brandon getting money from the 3-point line.
Went
1 for 3.
I had one that was really bad. The one in the corner. Oh my. Not talking about it.
Well, I mean, you brought it up. You got to just mention it real quick.
Could have built a house with that brick. Got him.
He
oh, wait, that was
nailed
me.
the side of the backboard from the top of the key.
No, I didn't.
My favorite.
I was
the
sitting there.
top of the key.
I was thinking about it for a second, and then I'm like, wait a minute, because one of my warm up shots at the side of the backboard. I remember I was laughing because I was wearing the sweat. I can't shoot in the hoodie, and I tried, and I hit the side. I'm like, man, that was bad. So I had a recollection of me hitting the side of the backboard. I'm like,
Brandon tried to be hoodie mellow, but instead he became sweatpants mellow.
no, dude, those sleeves are too tight. They restrict motion.
Brandon
Can't
wears
shoot with them.
sweatpants under his shorts.
No,
They're-
I don't.
Styling.
I'm a loser, but I'm not that big of a loser. Come on, Jason. Get it right.
Do we need to videotape our games?
We do. We could have
Yes.
seen John get dunked on.
Yeah, one of our friends got tip slammed on.
I'll record this.
I
Let's
was,
go.
I was dead.
Jonathan is going to come to our games now and record.
Yes.
Good.
See the embarrassment that is our league.
The other team.
I can't wait.
All right, so my second bold prediction bet is Josh McCown will be a top 6 QB.
Wow. I mean, he's been doing good.
I'd say he's doing well, but you know.
Sorry. Grammar.
Grammar major. All right, so that's going to we're going to wrap. No. That's not me. That was Austin. Josh McCown will be a top 6 QB.
He said it so convincingly.
Yeah. Normally his stuff isn't on
I
my
honestly
sheet.
don't even feel that's very bold, but you know what? We'll give it to him.
My second one, Josh Gordon will score more fantasy points than Julio Jones, Mike Evans,
Hold on.
AJ Green.
Josh McCown's the number
What?
7 quarterback. In his bold prediction, he's going to be the 6th best.
We got to stop the music for this one.
It's Josh McCown, though.
He's number 7.
Overall?
Last week, he had 31 points. The week before, he had 25.
He had 2 Deshaun Kaisers.
I'm
QB
adding him to
sneaks.
my team.
How about top 3?
Dropping Marcus
All
right now.
We'll make it a top 3 for Austin.
Sorry,
for
Austin.
bold prediction.
It's not bold at all.
Gotta
3
be.
is.
You got to be here to back up your bold predictions.
Right.
Josh McCown's getting the start this week.
Josh Gordon will score more fantasy points than Julio, Mike Evans, AJ Green, and Brandon Cooks. Not combined, but he'll score more than those
Separately.
top receivers.
Wow.
It's a very odd one.
Yeah.
But okay.
I was trying to switch it up. So that's our
It's
week
bold.
6 bold predictions.
That's bold.
Let's go ahead and move on to our next section, and that's just late season ads. Just kind of players you should be adding on your team. I mean, we've kind of mentioned a couple of them earlier, but
So I could begin because I just realized it.
Brandon.
Josh McCown.
Brandon, why don't you begin?
Josh McCown, he's owned in 42% of leagues and is the number 7 quarterback right now. I was sitting there needing a quarterback and just toiling away with Marcus Mariota and his mediocrity. And lo and behold,
Mediocre Mariota.
yeah, exactly. And meanwhile, who knows, but the tool of my salvation could be Josh McCown, my team's salvation. He is
You could save yourself from having to wear a dress next year.
exactly. Josh, I'm counting on you, Josh. I mean, the past 2 weeks he's combined for almost 57 points. I mean, it's not bad at all.
That's good.
That's against Carolina and Kansas City, who didn't have like terrible defenses.
Carolina especially has,
Yeah.
I mean, they're decent. But I think it's because he's a Jet. I think it's hard to trust a Jet
Yeah,
player.
Jets suck.
Yes. But you're right. He's been doing good. Underrated.
Agreed. Jonathan.
This one, they may not be dropped in all leagues, but if they have been dropped, Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson, it's the time to pick him up right now. Rodgers could come back next week if Packers beat the Browns, which they might. They probably will.
Which they will.
They
and
will.
the Browns will not be a top 10 defense.
Right, correct. Also,
Whoa.
Jordy Nelson's been struggling the past, ever since Rodgers been gone pretty much. So I feel like some people have gotten frustrated. I've seen him dropped in a few of my leagues actually. But he regains instant wide receiver 1 status if Rodgers returns. So something just to stash on your bench for now, see if it plays out in the coming couple weeks.
Yeah, it's all about getting somebody you could actually start on your lineup. And Rodgers is a league winner.
Yes.
Not
I
for
actually
me.
had him as well. I picked him up in my league because I didn't want any of the playoff teams getting him. I know some teams have been struggling at QB. So
Smart.
my first one, we're going to go with Giovanni Bernard. Joe Mixon got the snot knocked out of him last week. He got slammed by 2 people at the same time. Pretty much, I think he got knocked out. He landed on the ball. I don't even know if they got the ball for like 30 minutes because he was laying on it, and he had it gripped in a hold, and he was knocked out, so you weren't getting his arms open. But
Yikes.
Giovanni Bernard came in and was actually pretty productive. Along with that concussion that Joe Mixon's looking at, he's also dealing with a shoulder injury from that play. So, I mean, there's a good chance he could not play this week or be limited this week, and
Yeah.
Bernard is a good play. All right, Brandon, your second one.
And to add on that, I do think Giovanni's just as good, if not better, than Joe Mixon. So, I mean, even if Mixon were to return, I feel like he could at least make enough of an impact to at least get some touches in the future. But my second one is Marquise Goodwin. I know we spoke of him earlier. However,
Had him as well.
The past 4 weeks, the least amount he's had is 7 points. And he went 7, 16, 8, and 10. So a decent flex play. It seems like they use him more, or they have been using him more as of late.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody you could use.
Jimmy Garoppolo's favorite target.
I mean, that's not saying much.
Still. Wow. All right, Jonathan, your second one.
My second one is kind of more of a general thing, but handcuffs, top handcuffs. This is the time to at least have one or two on your bench if you have the space. But this is for top running backs only, like Le'Veon Bell. His handcuff would be James Conner, Melvin Gordon.
Fournette.
Yeah, yep. Leonard Fournette would be Ivory, Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, and maybe even Kareem Hunt, Charkandrick West would be the guy there. So just those guys that you could take a chance on if you have the space.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at my roster right now in one of my leagues, I know I'm not going to play like a Juju Smith-Schuster or trying to think of who I dropped, but I know I'm not going to play that. So I have Leonard Fournette and Le'Veon Bell on my team. I have James Conner and Chris Ivory sitting there waiting to play just in case they're injured. You should definitely back up. This is huge,
right?
Especially if you're in the playoffs. So I mean, you don't want to. If you lose them and then on the waiver wire the 10th best team ends up getting your backup, I mean, you're going to be pretty upset.
You're screwed. Yeah.
So my second one, I had Kenny Stills. Surprisingly, he's not added on a ton of leagues. I think it's like 60% of leagues have him. It might be up a little more, but he's been a consistent player. Had I think 18 points in PPR last week. Let's look that up real quick. He's just been a stud. He's constantly targeted, getting around 10 targets a game. So last week, 5 receptions, 98 yards, a touchdown. 2 weeks ago, 7 receptions, 180 yards, a touchdown. 3 weeks ago, 5 receptions, 67 yards. So he's just constantly used in the Dolphins' offense. I mean,
seems like Devontae Parker's faded out, and then Kenny Stills is kind of risen.
Devontae Parker's droppable.
Yes, he is. I dropped him today, actually.
All right, Brandon, your third and final.
It's going to be Jamison Crowder. He was very, very poor at the beginning of the season. However, in his last 5 games, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's averaged 8 catches a game. So, or not 8, sorry, I can't do math. Well, he had 9 catches, 4, 7, 7, and 5. I'm not going to get the average. But he's only had 1 touchdown in there. But in that span, he's still averaging around like 9-ish a game with only 1 touchdown through those games. So he's become Cousins' number 1 target. And he's averaging, in his last 5 played games, here it is. They have it written out for me, Fail. 10 targets, 6.5 catches, and 15 yards per catch. He has been either first or second in routes run as well in the past 5 weeks.
There you go.
Gotta like that, Jonathan.
This next one is someone that may not be as owned. With Allen's, it's D.D. Westbrook, wide receiver on Jacksonville. With Allen Hurns out, Westbrook has stepped up. He's been seeing a lot of volume. In the past 2 games, he's had 6 catches in each game and had 78 receiving yards last week, which is especially good for PPR. Additionally, he played 82% of the snaps last week too. He's kind of a deeper league ad, but he's showing promise. He has the targets. Could be a good flex spot at least.
I was watching him last week, and I didn't even know who he was. They called Westbrook's name like 5 times after catches. I'm like, who's that guy?
I know. He's only played. He only kind of came on late in the season, like the past few weeks.
So
he was on
he's
only
IR
played,
3 games.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of already talked about all mine, but Josh Gordon and Steven Anderson we already mentioned.
I had those
like
too.
Them.
Yep.
So that'll do it for our late season ads. We're going to go into our last segment, and that's going to be to flex or not to flex.
That is the question.
That's always Brandon's question.
Always flexing.
And the answer is always flexing. Yeah. So basically, Jonathan, do you want to read this one?
Yeah, so I have 3 options for flex,
Ooh.
and maybe just say which one you guys would choose. That work?
Let's do it.
Mhm.
Okay. First one are 3 running backs. You got Rex Burkhead, I don't know how to Samaje Perine, and Kenyon Drake.
Well, if you have those 3, your top 2 are probably pretty good.
That is true.
Man, I wish I had this luxury.
That'd be
Well,
nice, wouldn't it?
I'm. Are we talking this week?
Yes. Yep.
So I'm probably going Kenyon Drake. Damian Williams is back, so I'm. What did you say? I'm going Rex Burkhead,
Perine,
Kenyon Drake, and then Perine. So
Okay.
that's how I would rank them.
To flex or not to flex? That's the question. This week, due to matchups, usually like from production standpoint, I like Kenyon Drake the best. However, he's going against New England, and I expect New England to have a very large lead, which would turn into Burkhead getting more carries than him. So I'd say Burkhead, then Drake, then Piron, then Drake. But Drake I like the best for like the rest of the season, but this week I like Burkhead the best.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent.
That's how I had it too. I had Burkhead first, Drake, and then Perine. Just because I think depending like negative games flow kind of messes up with Perine a little bit, and then Redskins usually find themselves behind and they have to pass. So, but yeah, Burkhead for sure.
Agreed.
All right, we'll do another one.
Yeah.
This is wide receivers. We got Crabtree, Landry, and Devontae Adams.
Well, I know I'm going Adams last if I had to rank him.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Crabtree's going to be number 1 for me because they're going against the Chiefs. The Chiefs' number 1 corner is out, so Marcus Peters won't even be there. And then we've all seen their second and third and fourth corners are just absolutely garbage. So I expect Crabtree to have a huge game.
I like it.
And then Jarvis Landry second.
Adams third.
I would say Jarvis first, then
Ooh.
Adams last, the
Owner
second,
of Jarvis.
Crabtree the third, or Crabtree the second, and then Adams the third.
Adams third.
Just because Jarvis for the season has scored more and been more efficient than Crabtree, but that paired with he is going against the Patriots, who strangely enough are the 25th out of 32 ranked defenses against the pass. So he's playing against one of the worst pass defenses in the league, and he's been more productive for the most of the season.
How about you?
I would go Crabtree, Adams, and then Landry.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Disrespect for Landry.
It is disrespect. I think in PPR, Landry gets that huge boost just because he's targeted on so many short routes, you know. But for standard, I just think Adams has that bigger playability and that connection with Hundley, which I like.
Landry's had 6 or more in 8 out of the past 9 weeks, John.
Standard.
I know.
Standard.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. I think it depends on what you need.
I don't even know what Adams
If you need
done.
a ceiling, I would go Adams. If you want that floor, I'd go Landry.
Fair enough. And you have one final one?
One final one. This is a mix running backs and 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver. Latavius Murray, Doug Baldwin, and Frank Gore. A little bit harder.
I'd probably go in that order. Latavius, been consistent. He's kind of finding the end zone or getting around 90 rushing yards. And then you have, who and Frank Gore?
Baldwin.
Yeah, Doug Baldwin. He's just one of those guys like an Amari. He's not as bad as Amari Cooper and T.Y. Hilton, but he's a stud, and I'm a big believer in playing your studs.
Right.
So I would probably stick to my guns and have him second, and then Frank Gore third, even though Frank Gore's kind of been producing. So
Yeah, that's true. I think that's how I would do it too.
I do the same, but switch Gore and Baldwin. So I guess not the same, but
the same
put
winner.
Baldwin last.
yeah.
We're all
Nice.
in agreement. Latavius, best option.
I don't even like
Latavius wins.
either. But
He somehow always scores points.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gets the carries.
Yeah. Gets
Don't
that
like
end
it.
zone looks.
That's what you gotta like.
Yeah,
Don't like it.
that's what you need.
Except for Brandon, I guess.
Doesn't do it for him.
All right.
No, I don't like trusting him.
All right, so that's going to do it for this edition of the Frontline Fantasy Football Podcast. Brandon, just give your spiel.
Same place as always, Jason. You don't even got to ask where to find us. www.frontlinefantasyfootball.com. It is the greatest website ever made. Basically, you could check Jonathan's blog. You could check rankings. You could check articles. You could check starts and sits. You could check
Bets.
bets.
Dog versus
The
babies.
dog. Yeah, you could see Chief beat the babies with his mind.
Everything.
Yeah, you can see everything. Go get the links to the podcast as well. I mean, incredible. You can also find us on twitter.com, which is Frontline FF. That's Frontline FF. Frontline FF. F is in frog, so Frontline FF. And you could also go.
Frog.
Yep, you could also go to YouTube and go Frontline Fantasy Football. And while you're at it, you might as well go into the search bar on the top of your screen and go toiletlosers.com /. Don't ask me what the slash is about. But if you want to go and get these very high quality ceramic trophies, feel free. Very well priced, very high quality, beautiful to look at.
Yes.
It's like a miniature toilet on your desk. What more do you want?
Honestly, you wouldn't be that happy or you wouldn't be that sad if you were the loser getting a high quality trophy like this.
I'm trying to lose every one of my leagues now.
Well, you're doing a good job.
I'm doing well.
You could also win this Donald Trump
How do you
on
do
a
that?
toilet trophy. You just got to tweet our Twitter account. That's Frontline FF. And you got to tweet Fantasy Donald. And this beautiful trophy could be yours for your league.
That's
So,
it?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Impressive.
What a bargain.
So check that
pretty
out.
awesome.
You can, if you wanted to see that trophy, you could look at it on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. But that is the Frontline Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure you score more fantasy points than your opponent. Until next time.